Points.
By 28.
You know, with all these lofty sentiments about baseball and art, I think that you've forgotten something.
Like what?
The pickle. I think that a lot of those outfielders look more like the Three Stooges rather than the Three Tenors sometimes.
Well, what you got to remember about baseball is that sometimes the botched plays and the wild pitches and the errors are every bit as important to the game as the great plays like the home runs. I mean, take Bill Buckner, for instance. In the 1986 World Series, he played for the Red Sox. That error that he made helped the Mets win the World Series. Now, Bill Buckner's going to be remembered for that play forever. But what he should be remembered for is that he was a great player for a lot of years.
So what you're saying is that the bloopers are baseball's version of bad art. That without the bloopers, you wouldn't be able to appreciate those really great heroic moments.
Yeah, it's like body piercings and infomercials and the Macarena. There's a place for those things in American culture. And by the way, what's wrong with the Stooges?
Average a mere 7 pitches, that's all. In fact, it's the baseball's claim to fame that more than 5 or 6 doesn't appear in a game. Foul play is a big reason why. Whether it's scooped off the field or shagged as a fly. Or even a ball girl giving it the old college try. Oops. A little dirt isn't enough to end the ball's day. That is, unless an umpire has his way. And sometimes even the pitcher has something to say. A ball is out of play as a ground rule double. And hey, don't forget the men with stubble who hit the long ball. Now that's guaranteed trouble.
Have you ever heard of Jackson Pollock?
Yeah, that's that great ski resort. I was there a couple weeks ago. It's awesome there.
That's Jackson Hole.
Oh.
Pollock was an artist who took globs of paint and he threw and splattered and sprayed them on the canvas. What does baseball have to compare to that?
Well, I don't know. Have you ever seen the dugout floor after a game's over? It's nasty. There's spooge all over the place, saliva, there's paper cups, banana peels, bubblegum wrappers. It's sort of like that Pollock guy's art.
Well, this masterpiece is finished, but don't be sad, because we'll be back next week with a special family show. It's the Alomar brothers, the Boone family, a lesson from a Venice, and a family cyber fantasy with Brady. So keep it together and soon you'll be in the zone.
Catch the action with Catcher Cam as the Angels take on Junior and the Mariners. Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week. Next. Tonight at 6.
Yeah, how are we going to do it? Like this.
On the next Walker, Texas Ranger. A major drug bust.
Texas Rangers, drop it!
Brings down major retaliation on Walker, Texas Ranger. This 7.
The government has known about the existence of extraterrestrials for 50 years.
Mulder's got the proof, but he can trust no Don't miss this classic X-Files.
Tonight, starting at 6 on Fox 49.
Before you get that new sport utility vehicle, know what you're getting into. Get into one that can comfortably sit 9 with all the comfort features. Get into one with the most cargo room. And get into one with the most towing power in its class. Get into the Expedition and choose the exact model you want with all the features you need. After all, your Northwest Ford dealer has the largest selection of Expeditions, all priced to move. Get into one at your Northwest Ford dealer today.
It's about time you get local weekend news at a convenient time.
For local news on the weekends, switch to Fox News at 10. It's about time.
Where legends are made, where champions are crowned, where dreams come true. You're watching Fox
of 9. Fox Saturday Baseball has come to Seattle for this American League Western Division matchup between the Angels and the Mariners. Anaheim sitting atop the division, a half game better than Texas. And how about the Mariners? Dead last, 13 games behind. And a pleasant good afternoon to you. Alongside Bob Brentley, I'm Tom Brenneman. Welcome, as always, to Baseball on Fox. Bobby, looking at those standings, who would have thunk it?
Who would have ever thunk it? The Angels have been close in the past, but key injuries to position players have knocked them out of the race. This year, they've been able to stay relatively healthy. The Mariners, on the other hand, Lou Piniella thinks they can still get back in this race. If Texas and Anaheim stumble for a week, they get hot. They feel the Mariners can get back in the race, but he added a footnote. He said, the team that gets back in the race is going to be one that plays good defense and has a strong bullpen, two things that the Mariners do not do well.
Well, we'll find out if Ken Griffey Jr. and the Mariners can make this late season run at the Anaheim Angels. Jim Edmonds and company have had a terrific season, and here in Seattle, they're hoping that Randy Johnson can get the ball rolling today. We'll check in with Chip Carey in the studio after these messages from your local Fox station.
You're watching Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week.
Tonight at midnight,
I want you to make love to me.
an unstable witness wants Simone,
You have no idea who you're dealing with.
and she'll do whatever it takes
Are you going to see him now? Are you going to make love to him?
to get what she wants. On the next NYPD Blue. Then at 1.
An angry spirit turns a lighthouse into a chamber of horrors. On the next Poltergeist, The Legacy.
Tonight, starting at midnight on Fox 49.
Fox 49 Baseball, brought to you by Gap.
It's a wireless jungle out there, but Voice Stream is more civilized because it's more affordable.
Hi, honey. Listen, I'm running a little late.
400 minutes, just $39.95.
So what's for dinner? I don't know, chicken? Can you hold on? I don't think I'm going to get out until late.
Call now and get free long distance for 6 months. So get Voice Stream and get more from life.
Make a smart decision when buying your next car or truck. Hi, I'm Bruce, and this is Sissy Ruth. We are truly overstocked and need to move them out. Drive home today the all-new Tahoe or choose from many Suburbans. For summer driving, you'll love the exciting Camaro or Cavalier. They are my choice. We have lots and lots of S10 pickups and Blazers, too. Don't wait. You know the place. That's Bruce Chevrolet in Hillsboro, a name you can trust.
Up on the scoreboard today, how did Mark McGwire do seeking home run number 38?
Well, he didn't get one today, but one guy in the lineup that did right off of the DL, Ron Gant. This guy can keep swinging the bat the way he used to. He might be able to help them get back in the race.
After a Jeff Bagwell homer made it 2-0 in favor of the Astros, Gant tied the game with his first homer since coming off the DL. Mark McGwire 0 for 3 with a strikeout and a walk. The bases are loaded in the top of the 11th. That game tied at 2. Orioles and the Red Sox, Scott Erickson flirting with perfection today.
It's all about location for him. If he's down around the knees, he's unhittable with both the slider and the sinker.
I'm surprised you didn't say he was filthy, because he was today. Joe Carter hit his 388th home run of his career. That made it 1-0 in favor of Baltimore. That's all they'd need. They beat the Red Sox by a single run. Scott Erickson is 9th win. Tim Wakefield took the loss, but is 10-4 on the year. Cubs and Brewers, Sammy Sosa chasing Mark McGwire and company, but it was some of the other Cubs that played long ball today.
Well, Sammy's giving his teammates a chance to drive in some runs. He can't have all the RBIs on that club.
Right. Mark Grace hit one. Henry Rodriguez hit 2 home runs for the Cubs. He's having a great year in relative anonymity on Chicago's north side. Cubs rolling over the Brewers 11-3. Sammy Sosa 1 for 5 with an RBI. Indians 12, Twins 2. Doc Gooden picked up the win. Now 3-3. Brad Radke takes the loss. We've talked about home run derby, Steve. Who has the best chance of anyone to top Roger Maris?
Well, I think Junior now. He plays in the American League. He plays in a tougher lineup to walk him, and he hits left-handed in Seattle. Great place to hit.
Well, we'll see if Junior can hit number 38. It's the Mariners and the Anaheim Angels. Let's send you up to the beautiful Pacific Northwest for today's ball game.
Chip, thank you very much. Speaking of Ken Griffey Jr., he's homered each of the last 2 ball games. And Bobby now has 63 home runs in his last 150 games. That's over 2 years, of course, so it's not in the record books just yet.
Well, I have a feeling he's going to find his way into the record books this year. If he can stay healthy throughout the remainder of the season, I agree with Psycho. Mariners lineup too strong to pitch around him. They got to throw him pitches, although last night the Angels walked him with 2 outs in the inning and nobody on base in a tie ball game. He will see more of that as the year goes on, however.
Well, the story, though, the American League West, Barry Collins, Anaheim Angels, and the MCI starting lineup. Darren Erstad having a marvelous year in left field. Craig Shipley starts at third base. Jim Edmonds in center. Tim Salmon bothered with a bad heel all year long, but trying to make it 530 home run season. He comes in with 15 today. Cecil is at first base. Phil Nevin catches. Damon Mayshore in right. Justin Bachman is the second baseman. And Gary DiSarcina, also having a terrific year, is the shortstop. And the man on the mound, in the middle of a great deal of controversy, Randy Johnson.
Well, 2 numbers jump out at you right there. The high ERA for Randy Johnson, over 5. And, of course, the strikeouts are always there for the big unit. Doesn't throw quite as hard as he used to. He can still rush it up there in the high 90s occasionally, but the velocity overall is down this season. Still get that fastball up there in the mid-90s consistently. He's gone more and more to the slider this year since his fastball hasn't been as dominating. And as you can see, he's on pace for the highest ERA of his career.
Well, Johnson all year long has been rumored in various trade deals. We'll talk about that. The Mariners defensively, and they have been nothing shy of brutal. You see the nicknames, and that's the way they're known all around baseball. A Junior and Bone, Buhner and right, A-Rod at shortstop, and the big unit today is on the mound. We'd like to remind you, as always, our broadcast is also available in Spanish by utilizing the SAP button on your television. The Junior and the Mariners in dead last in the West, hoping the turnaround can begin today with Randy Johnson on the mound. They won the first game after the break over Anaheim, and then really gave away a game they thought they should have won last night. Darren Erstad to lead things off, hitting at .313. 19 home runs for this leadoff man. 60 runs batted in. And it's ball 1. We're underway here in Seattle. Erstad, of course, an American League All-Star for the very first time. Came into the game in Denver, replacing Kenny Lofton in left field. Moved over to center, went 0 for 2 in the game. Broken bat roller down to first base and quickly one away.
That's a good start already. Take Darren Erstad, keep him off the bases early in the ball game. What a great player. I mean, not only can he get on base and make things happen, but he's got power. You have to pitch him very carefully right out of the chute. Normally a starting pitcher can go out there to the mound. The leadoff hitter is a pesky guy that slaps the ball around. With Erstad, if you make a mistake, the first batter of the game, you may find yourself looking up at a 1-0 deficit.
Craig Shipley getting to start at third base. He's down a strike. Randy Johnson, 34 years old, a native of Walnut Creek, California. 6'10", 230-pounder, and you see his numbers here at the Kingdome over his last 86 starts. However, this year, a very different story. In his career coming into this season at the Kingdome, Johnson, 66 wins, 29 losses, and an ERA under 3. This year, the earned run average at the Kingdome, over 5.5. 1-2 to Shipley. Johnson came to the Mariners in the Mark Langston deal in May of 1989. How much longer will he be here? All the rumors earlier about a trade to the Dodgers, of course, they never transpired. Many around here will tell you if the Mariners can't get back in the race before the trading deadline on July the 31st, that Johnson still may be traded. Shipley gone on strikes.
If the Mariners don't get back in the race, I think you'll see a lot of guys leaving this Mariners ball club. They're a very old team at a lot of key positions. You see Johnson, 99 games without consecutive losses. That's over 4 seasons before he lost 2 straight starts twice this season.
Well, they have all the big names and the big bats. You saw Rodriguez and Griffey and Buhner. As it's strike 1 to Jim Edmonds.
Johnson consistently hitting 95 with the fastball. Now, Lou Piniella talked about that quite frankly this morning. Said he has games where he can still throw 98, 99. But then in his next start, the fastball won't be there. He'll throw high 80s, low 90s. Never really break the mid-90s mark. And that's very puzzling, not only to Lou Piniella, but to other teams who are looking at Randy Johnson, trying to figure out which one is the real big unit.
He looks like the big unit so far here in the opening inning. That one at 98 miles per hour, and it's 1-2 to Edmonds. This Angels team with a half-game lead over Texas in the West. And the 1-2. Down the left field line. That's going to fall in front of Monahan, a base hit. And Edmonds with a 2-out single is at first.
You hear it said all the time about a hitter letting the pitcher supply the power. Jim Edmonds just stuck the bat in the strike zone here. Just flips it out into left field. Let Randy Johnson supply all the power. He just got the bat on the ball and drove it into deep left field. You can see no stride from Edmonds, especially with 2 strikes. He doesn't lift his front foot off the ground. Just throws the head of the bat at the ball.
And Salmon looks at a strike. Well, you really got to tip your hat to this guy, Salmon, playing on a terrible heel right now and has been all the way back into spring training. Missed a little bit of time, but continues to go out there each and every game. He's behind 0-2. And Rod Carew, their hitting coach, was telling us before the game, the heel could pop. His season could be over literally any minute as he continues to go out there each and every day.
And he plays hard each and every day. Rod also told us there have been situations this year where Salmon has beat out double play grounders to keep an inning going.
Salmon gone on strikes. Junior will lead things off his pursuit of Roger Maris when we return.
I talk to my mom every Sunday. Nothing big, just to stay close.
Terry Collins, Angels, a scoreless first inning. So now the Mariners come to bat in the bottom half. Their MCI starting lineup. Rich Amaral leads off at first base. Joey Cora at second. And the amazing Ken Griffey Jr. is in center field. You see the 37 home runs tied with Mark McGwire for the major league lead. Alex Rodriguez at short. Edgar Martinez at DH, Jay Buhner in right. Shane Monahan, Rico Rossi, John Marzano, the latter third against right-hander Steve Sparks to the Angels.
Sparks basically a knuckleball pitcher. He does throw a fastball, a curve, and a slider as well, but he's going to go to the knuckleball whenever possible, which is almost every pitch. You can see only 10 walks for a knuckleball pitcher. Very unusual. And he throws his knuckleball very hard, unlike Tim Wakefield and Dennis Springer, some of the other knuckleballers who throw it very slowly. He throws his hard.
And there it is for strike 1. And you saw that last bullet point about he's worked hard to get here. No kidding. He did not pitch all of 97 due to Tommy John surgery on his right elbow as he's gone to a ball and a strike on Rich Amaral. And in fact, Sparks this year did not win a game in the minor leagues. He went 0-4 in Double-A. Went 0-4 in Triple-A, but with all the injuries to the Angels starting rotation, they brought him to the major leagues anyway, and he hasn't lost a game.
Well, it's very unusual to see a knuckleball pitcher, first of all, that can throw strikes consistently, and second of all, throws the knuckleball that hard.
Well, in a minute, we're going to check in with Mark McGwire, Josh Lewin, and Frank Robinson on the call in St. Louis.
We welcome those of you digging in for Seattle and Anaheim. It is McGwire digging in here with a chance to win it for St. Louis. 3-2 Houston. It's the last of the 11th, and it's smoke against power. And McGwire to right field. It's foul. Billy Wagner, 99 miles an hour is how he brings it. Mark McGwire is the man he's facing.
He's coming right at them. Power against power.
Nothing for 3 with an intentional walk is McGuire this afternoon. Now remember last time that McGuire was up there with a man on base. The man on base, in an ill-advised move, stole second, and they just went ahead, said, fine, let's walk Mark McGuire.
Very good. That's right. They walked him intentionally instead of trying to just pitch around him and pitch him carefully.
2 strikes to McGuire, who is holding with 37 home runs.
I like what Wagner's doing. He's not fooling around. He's coming right at him. Because when you try to pitch around hitter sometimes, you don't throw your best stuff. And you wind up getting burned.
But he couldn't throw it by McGuire.
No doubt about where that one was going, I'll tell you, Josh. That went a long way. And as soon as he hit it, you knew the game was over. Right there, baby. Right there.
He did it on an 0-2 pitch. He destroyed it to win the game for St. Louis. Watch his son, Matthew.
He wasn't real sure there for a while. He was the only one, though.
How about that? Right here on Fox, we give you Mark McGuire's at bat. He clubs a 2-run home run, his 38th of the season. That gives him the major league lead over that man, Ken Griffey Jr., who comes in with 37. Wow.
Low fastball. You know, if Wagner gets that pitch up around the letters, he might strike Mark McGuire out, but you cannot throw a low fastball by him. Man, he hit that in the upper part of the upper deck.
What a race for Roger Maris's record, as Cora has gone on strikes. Back-to-back strikeouts, meanwhile. Here in the first inning by Steve Sparks. He got Amaral, then Cora, and here comes Junior. First 2 games after the All-Star break. It started Thursday night here at the Kingdom. That was number 36. And then last night, to the upper deck, number 37. But not good enough to get Mark McGuire, who just hit number 38 Junior showing fun. You gotta be kidding me.
Well, the Angels defensively are putting on a drastic shift. 3 infielders on the right side. Only the third baseman, Craig Shipley, playing in the natural shortstop position. I don't think Junior's going to bunt.
I agree with you.
And I think if he wanted to, Terry Collins would go up and help him bunt. I think he did that more for effect than anything else, just to get a chuckle out of Craig Shipley over there on the left side, all by himself.
331 home runs in the very young career of Ken Griffey Jr. And he looks at a strike there. It's 2-1. That ties him with Hank Greenberg for 61st all-time.
You see, Junior has handled knuckleball pitchers in the past. Home run against Wakefield and against Springer.
2-2.
65 miles an hour on that knuckleball. That's still about 10 miles an hour faster than Wakefield throws his. So a very firm knuckleball.
2 balls, 2 strikes to Ken Griffey Jr. Sparks shaking off the sign given right there by Phil Nevin. And it's fouled out of play. We told you at the beginning of the broadcast, going back to July the 25th of last season, Junior 63 home runs in his last 150 games. And look at those numbers in the month of July during his career. But he's gone on strikes, and Sparks fans aside in the opening inning. We go to the second in Seattle, no score.
How do you get this equipment to these troops when there's a river between them?
Stuck in his ear, though.
Right.
I don't really think those are earplugs.
Well, they are having a good time down there in the very front row. Who knows? Maybe it was a pop of the mint of John Marzano, and Randy Johnson throws that heat. No scores. We open the second inning here at the Kingdome. Cecil Fielder takes Lone away. 2 balls and a strike. See the numbers on Cecil. Batting average down, but the RBIs, very good total for Fielder, was 60. Cecil has been just tremendous here during the decade of the 1990s. 3 times led the American League in runs batted in, twice in home runs, and was part of that Yankee club that won it all in 1996. Cecil very happy to be out of the Bronx, however, and now getting a chance to play every day. Not only DHs every now and then, but also plays some first base. That's some heat. 98 miles per hour, third strikeout of the game for Johnson.
That's a pitch that Cecil Fielder is going to have problems with from any pitcher. The good, high, hard fastball, especially from a Randy Johnson. Cecil's getting to that stage of his career where in order to hit a good fastball, he has to cheat a little bit. Start the swing a little bit earlier. He's a much more effective breaking ball hitter or strikes. When a pitcher throws a slider or a curveball for a strike, that's a ball that he hammers.
Phil Nevin settles in, hitting at .252, 5 home runs and 16 batted in. Johnson has allowed 1 hit. He struck out 3. 1-1. Johnson was involved in an altercation before the game yesterday with his teammate David Segui as it goes to 1-2. And Segui, originally in the lineup today, scratched about 15 minutes before game time.
And we were told by a member of the Seattle Mariners public relations crew that he has a sprained wrist. David Segui has a sprained wrist, and it was a result of that altercation yesterday. From what we understand, a very minor thing, at least it started out minor, over the volume and selection of music on the clubhouse stereo, and it escalated and turned into something that I'm sure neither player is very proud of. But it happens. Yeah, those clubhouse stereos start more fights than anything else. One guy wants to listen to country music, the other guy wants to listen to rap, somebody wants to throw on some Aerosmith, and somebody's going to be mad.
Yes. Especially if it's a little too loud and you didn't make the selection. 3-2 now to Nevin. Ken Griffey Jr., Jay Buhner, among others, came over to break up Johnson and Segui. No punches were thrown. There's strike 3 on the inside corner, number 4 for Johnson. Well, he looks like the big unit of years past early on here today.
Well, he's got the good fastball, and that's what he's relying on in the early going here. Just rearing back, throwing the high fastball to get the swinging strikes, and then working the inside corner enough to keep the Angels hitters honest.
Now Damon Mayshore getting a start in right field today, and there's a breaking ball in there, a strike. See Garrett Anderson sitting next to Fielder, a left-handed batter, a regular in this Anaheim lineup, but there aren't many lefties that go up there against Johnson. Although Erstad is in the lineup, so too is Jim Edmonds.
Boy, and Garrett Anderson is one of those well-kept secrets. Hitting over 300 again this year. He just hits 300 every year.
Johnson fans aside in the second inning and glares at Mayshore as he walks away. 5 strikeouts in 2 innings for the big unit. No score.
headache, the most trusted combination of strength and safety in pain relief today. And Tylenol works without stomach irritation. So before you know it...
May I have this dance?
Daddy's going to be right as rain. Tylenol. Take comfort in our strength.
Fox Saturday Baseball Game of the Week, brought to you by Fram Filters. Pay a little more now or pay a lot later. By MasterCard, official card of Major League Baseball and fan of the great American pastime. By Tylenol, take comfort in our strength. And by MCI 5-cent Sundays, pay the least on the day you call the most.
Rather gloomy day outside here in Seattle. There's a bright ray of sunshine, however. Enjoying it along with better than 32,000 here at the Kingdome. No score as we begin the bottom half of the second inning. Alex Rodriguez looks at a strike. Rodriguez, 27 home runs. Again, an American League All-Star. You see tops among all shortstops in both home runs and runs batted in. But he's behind Steve Sparks, throwing nothing but strikes here early on, 0-2.
Yeah, that was the history of Sparks coming in. We mentioned he'd only walked 10 batters in his 4 starts. Actually, 5 appearances. He had 1 relief appearance. That's an unusually low number for a knuckleball pitcher. You can look at his numbers in the minors. 0-8. Gets called up to the big leagues. Nothing to it. 3-0.
In the air, foul ground. Cecil near the seats and cannot make the play. Should have been an out.
Cecil's trying to argue that a fan interfered there. That's actually Cecil's fault. You're always taught that on a pop-up that's near the bleachers, get over to the wall first, find the ball, and then make an adjustment. You can see Cecil's not really sure where the wall is. He still had another step or two before he got over there, and another step would have put him right underneath the baseball.
Few flecks of gray in that goatee worn by Cecil Fielder.
Get off the flecks of gray, will you?
Hey, I got plenty of myself, and I'm a lot younger than you and Cecil.
I think I'd have to shave that thing off, though, if it started coming in gray.
Well, said it many, many times before, when it comes to the hair on top of the head, it can turn green as far as I'm concerned, as long as you keep it.
Well, the hair on top of a lot of ball players is turning colors these days.
Yes, on this Anaheim team especially. Straight away center field. Room for Edmonds, the Gold Glove winner last season, 1 away.
Edmonds, one of the guys that has the hair tipped in blonde. You won't be able to see it with his baseball cap on, but I'm sure we'll catch him at some time today with that hat off.
Chuck Finley, we know about him.
Oh, well. 1 year it's the goatee, the next year it's frosted hair. There's Chuck Finley.
Jack McDowell's just a little off the wall all the time. But he doesn't need to do it with a hair color. As it's ball 1 to Edgar Martinez.
Well, dyeing the hair would be really mild for Jack.
Yes.
That wouldn't even be a statement of any kind.
Jack McDowell on the disabled list has had a bad right elbow. They're hoping to get him back. As that's in the air to left center field. And Edmonds again with room. Well, we gave you some of the nicknames. The bone as we go to the third. No score. Back after these messages from your local Fox station.
For in-your-face coverage, log on to foxsports.com.
And now, Carl's Jr. presents Fox 49's Messy Moments. Fox 49 Messy Moments brought to you by Carl's Jr., where if it doesn't get all over the place, it doesn't belong in your face.
Fox Sports is presented by Carl's Jr. If it doesn't get all over the place, it doesn't belong in your face.
Hi, I'm Jim Palmer. The Money Store is so sure they have the best home loan under the sun, they guarantee it. It's the 90-day no-pay. The loan that lets you refinance your home.
Runs in what would be 4 straight years, an all-star 2 seasons ago, and a tremendous defender out there in right field. No score, the Angels and the Mariners as we open up the third inning. Bachman, DiSarcina, then back to the top of the order in Erstad. Randy Johnson allowed a 2-out single in the first to Jim Edmonds. And that's been it. He's fan 5. 0-2 to Bachman, who's done a good job since being called up from the minor leagues. 259 hitter, has 5 stolen bases, 13 runs batted in. 1-2. See Sparks almost matching Johnson for a strike here in the early part of this game. Johnson with 5, Sparks with 4 through the first 2 innings.
It just goes to show you there's more than one way to skin a cat. Isn't that the old saying? Yep. Johnson rearing back, throwing fastballs in the high 90s, and Sparks floating that knuckleball up there. The difference with that knuckleball, it's such a feel pitch. A knuckleball pitcher will tell you that on certain days they have such a feel for that pitch that they can make it break down and away from lefties or down and away from righties. They can make it float up high in the zone. They can make it dip in the dirt. I don't believe that, but they insist that they can do it.
Why don't you believe it?
Because I've tried to throw a knuckleball, and you have no idea where it's going. When you throw a good one, you don't know where it's going. The catcher doesn't know where it's going. The hitter doesn't know where it's going. I find it hard to believe that somebody can actually control a knuckleball. You just aim it at the catcher's mask and hope it ends up somewhere near the plate.
Lifted into shallow right center field. Cora out, Buhner in, and Buhner makes the catch.
Now, Randy Johnson with 5 strikeouts in the game already. These are the 3 that retired the side in the second inning. Some good old country hardball there. Low fastball. And then just absolutely locks up Damon Mayshore and puts the death stare on him. How dare you bring a bat up there and try to hit against me? Oh.
Well, if there's one guy that has owned left-handed pitching this season, doesn't matter who's on the mound, it's been DiSarcina. Gets a bat on the ball, but Rodriguez behind the back throws him out. DiSarcina had hit .369 against left-handers this season.
Boy, DiSarcina just quietly having an awesome year for a shortstop. We've talked in the past about his defensive ability, how he wins ball games with his glove, with his positioning, turning double plays. There you get a look at what Tom was talking about, the .369 average against lefties this season. But he's doing it with the bat this year. Hitting over .310. 31 RBIs from the shortstop position. Very respectable. And they have him hidden down there in that 9 spot.
Why is it every graphic we see has a New York Yankee 1 and 2?
Go figure.
That's tough to figure out. 63 and 20 are the New York Yankees. Erstad looks at a breaking ball strike. 1-1, and Erstad ranks among the league leaders in many statistical categories, and you see that's tremendous success for any batter against Johnson, much less a left-handed batter. 2-1.
Well, there's a reason for that success that Erstad has had, not only against Johnson, but against every pitcher in the American League this year. A extra inning night game last night. Both teams got home very late. We got here early this morning, and Darren Erstad and the Angels were out here hitting optional batting practice, and I think they had about 90% of the team here to take that extra batting practice.
We had a very nice visit with that man, Rod Carew, before the game today. He likes this Anaheim ball club offensively. And there's ball 4 to Darren Erstad. Erstad, a former 2 sports star while in Nebraska, national champion Cornhuskers. But he excelled especially in baseball, where he was the Big 8 Gold Player of the Year, the #1 pick in the amateur draft last season. First on the scene with his speed, and this year has done it all. Cora will feed Rodriguez on the force play, and that'll retire the side. One man left. We head to the bottom half of the third. Still a scoreless game. Mariners come to bat against Steve Sparks. Last half of the third. 6 up, 6 down against this young right-hander. Shane Monahan to lead things off. Just brought up from the minor leagues, and he's down a strike. Monahan made his major league debut on Thursday night. Went 2 out of 4, knocked in a couple of runs. And he made it a point. He knew this game was going back to Phoenix, Arizona today. Shane is getting married this upcoming off season. And his in-laws, the Sways family down in Phoenix, watching the game today with his bride-to-be Alicia Sways. And he begged us, came walking over, said, please say hello. I got in, get in good with the in-laws.
That never hurts. Start early.
Well, when are you going to start?
Well, it's been 24 and a half years. Too late now.
On the ground, base hit. Into the corner. And Monahan into second base with a stand-up double to begin the third.
Monahan just picking right up where he left off, although he wasn't hitting that well in AAA. It's about 250 when he got his recall to the big leagues, but puts it just inside the stripe down the right field line. Struck out his first 2 at-bats at the major league level, but then got 2 base hits and a couple of RBIs, and the double here in his first at-bat of the ball game today against the knuckleballer.
Rico Rossi taking over at third base. Lou Piniella making the decision during the All-Star break that Russ Davis would be moved from third base to left field. Davis committed 25 errors at third base during the first half of the season, the most of any player in the major leagues. And in his first game last night in left field, he committed a costly error on a routine fly ball to left that led to an Anaheim run. 1-1 to Rossi.
And you can see from that center field camera, you can peek right into the glove of Steve Sparks. See that knuckleball grip as he digs in there. Actually, it's a misnomer. We've talked about this in the past, and we're going to show you in a moment. It's not thrown with the knuckle, but calling it a fingertip ball just doesn't have the same ring. This is the grip that Steve Sparks uses on his knuckleball. Some pitchers use different variations of this, but you can see the 2 index fingertips on the ball. The only thing unusual is his ring finger extending out past the midpoint of the baseball. Usually a knuckleball pitcher will curl that ring finger and almost make it look like 3 fingertips on the baseball, but Sparks extends that ring finger. Perhaps that's why he has better control of it than other knuckleball pitchers.
1-2 to Rossi. Monahan running and a foul ball straight back. Lou Piniella trying to make something happen offensively.
Well, that's always a great idea against the knuckleball pitcher. It's hard to catch that ball behind the plate. Very rarely will you catch it cleanly in the pocket of your mitt. You'll catch it down by the heel of the glove, up in the webbing. It'll rattle around in that big knuckleball mitt. And if a runner's moving and you're reaching in there trying to get a grip on the ball, it's very, very tough to get it cleanly and make a good, strong throw. There you see that piece of luggage they call a knuckleball mitt.
1-2 pitch. And fouled off, and Nevin unable to hang on, so Rossi's still alive.
Well, Rossi's had a good at-bat, even though he's fouled off a lot of pitches. He's still trying to take a shot to the right side of the field. which is something you can do with a knuckleball pitcher. If you know he's going to keep floating that thing up there, you just wait a little bit longer, lead with the knob of the bat instead of the barrel of the bat, and try to hit that ball to the right side.
Again, the knuckleball coming. And it's punched to the right side. Good work by Rossi. The pitcher has to get over to cover the bag. Cecil made a break for the ball, and great awareness there by Sparks to not take anything for granted. But Monahan advanced on to third.
Great at bat by young Rico Rossi, advancing that runner to third base with one out in the inning. Setting the table for John Marzano, and then perhaps Rich Amaral behind him. Yeah, high fives all around. That's one of those things that they call the little things of baseball, but actually that's what baseball is all about. Playing fundamentals. And Lou Piniella told us before the ball game that's the kind of thing that the Mariners have not consistently done this year. Advance runners, get guys in from third base with one out. Opportunity here for Marzano to do just that.
Infield drawn in. Every run so precious when you're facing Randy Johnson on the mound, where one run could win the ball game. 1-0 pitch. Fouled away. A ball, a strike to Marzano, getting the nod today with Johnson on the mound. Monahan started the inning with a double, advanced on to third on a ground out by Rossi. Infield in, 1-1, a roller to second. Here comes the runner. Here comes the throw. Collision at the plate, and out at home is Monahan. So again, the little things Seattle unable to do, and the runner cut down at home. 2 away in the inning.
Third baseman, number 8,
yeah, normally with that infield drawn in, the third base coach will tell a runner, make the ball get through. Unless it's late in a ball game of a tie game or a no-score ball game, usually the coach will say, make the ball go through with the infield drawn in. Monahan was off on contact. Easy play for Justin Bachman to throw home to Phil Nevin to get Monahan.
Steve Smith, the third base coach. Pitch on the way, and it's high and inside. Swing and a miss by Amaral. 0-2.
A little trouble right there, but if you could have heard the Fox sounds of the games, you would have heard third base coach Steve Smith say, make the ball get through. Monahan, a rookie mistake there, trying to make something happen for the Mariners. If he scores, it's a big lift. If he gets thrown out, more of the same.
We'll listen in again, our sounds of the game. Well, again, we'll try and bring that to you here in a moment.
Steve Smith talks so quiet.
Very quiet. He's whispering down there. 2-2 to Amaral. Well, Lou Piniella was talking at length before the game, as Bobby mentioned. He said the difference between good teams and bad teams every year, execution. That the reason the Angels are in first, they execute. Tight ball game, look no further than their 15-7 record in one-run games. Seattle in one-run games, 4 wins, 15 losses. And whether it's turning a double play, moving a runner along, having your bullpen hold a 2, 3, 4-run lead for Seattle, it's unsafe at 7 runs anymore. But the Angels have done it, and they get out of the inning unscathed. We move to the 4th. Still no score.
My dentist told me about this new gun.
Read that chopper, go ahead. Other than that, make it go through.
Well, Steve Smith, you heard him say if you read the chopper, go ahead, which means on the AstroTurf occasionally you'll get that real high bouncing ball, and he wanted Monahan to go ahead and run if he reads the chopper, otherwise make it go through. Well, the ball Monahan tried to score on was a hard hit grounder right at the second baseman. Not a good read at all by the rookie, and he went out to his position left field and tapped himself on the head, kind of indicating that wasn't thinking.
Well, no scores. We open up the fourth inning. Randy Johnson and Steve Sparks locked up in a good one here today. Edmonds, the only hit for the Angels. And now he draws a walk to begin the fourth inning.
Well, baseball is a learning process at the major league level. Monahan knows he made a mistake. He said, geez, the coach just told me to make it go through. What am I thinking about? But I'll tell you, his feet probably haven't touched the ground yet. After getting called up from AAA, made his debut Thursday night. He's still floating on air.
Runner going, Tim Salmon takes, and unable to get the handle is John Marzano, so give Edmonds his second stolen base of the year. And the Angels, just like that, have a runner in scoring position against Randy Johnson. Well, while we have a moment, I'd like to run our Aflac trivia question by you. Who are the only 4 minor league players of the year who went on to become rookies of the year in the major league? Give you a moment or two to think about that. Again, the only 4 minor league players of the year who went on to become rookie of the year in the major league. I don't think of the obvious.
What else can I think of?
Edmonds at second base, nobody out. And Salmon checks his swing. 2 balls and a strike. Salmon went down swinging against Johnson to end the first inning. Two and two.
And you can see Salmon taking a little bit of a shot to right field right there. We talked about Rico Rossi last inning for the Mariners, advancing the runner to third base with nobody out. Salmon doesn't figure to be that kind of a guy, though. He's in an RBI slot in this lineup. They expect him to drive in runs. I don't think they really worry too much about a ground ball to the right side for Tim Salmon.
Back to the mound. They have the runner caught. Johnson runs right at Edmonds, flips to Rodriguez, and they get the out. Poor base running decision there by Jim Edmonds. One away.
That was a poor base running move by Jim Edmonds, but it's certainly understandable. As a base runner at second base, you tell yourself, I'm going to advance on a ball hit to my left, I'm going to stay on a ball hit to my right, and then there's always that one that's hit back to the mound. If it gets by the pitcher, you advance to third, perhaps even score. If the pitcher makes the play, you get hung out just like Edmonds did.
Cecil drives one into right center field, and this ball is cut off by Junior. Salmon not running well with a bad heel, advances on to third, and they will hold him there, and Cecil has to stop at first. Boy, little plays that Ken Griffey Jr. makes, just amazing. What a play that was.
Boy, that looked like double to the wall all the way. Junior, with that great speed, makes up a lot of ground in a hurry, cuts that ball off. That prevented Salmon from scoring, even with the bad foot. You'll see Salmon chugging around second base. If that ball gets by Junior at that point, he scores easily on that play. Bad foot and all.
8 consecutive gold gloves for Ken Griffey Jr. and his defensive excellence in center field. Double play is still in order for the Mariners. And down a strike is Phil Nevin. Runners at first and third, only one out. And now it's 0-2. Well, we talked about all the problems with Seattle. Anaheim not playing well right now. The Angels have lost 8 of their last 11, 9 of 13, as that lead has dwindled down to a half game over Texas. They have 3/5 of their starting rotation from the beginning of the year on the disabled list, but they're hanging on. Still 0-2. You got to wonder, Bobby, whether the Angels would make a key trade to bring in some pitching that might enable them to hold off Texas.
Well, they're anticipating the return of Ken Hill. Alan Watson was very close to coming off the disabled list when he suffered a cut wrist, opening a beer bottle.
Never gone on strike. 2 away.
You have to believe the Angels can get those two guys back in their starting rotation. That they feel they were pretty well set to go down the stretch run. That's that big slider we talked about earlier. And I've heard a breaking ball called a knee buckler before, but that's the first time I've ever actually seen it work. He crumpled up like a rag doll.
Salmon at third, Fielder at first. Mayshore chases a high heat. Boy, Johnson bringing it today.
Oh, he really is. This is the best I've seen him throw all summer. Of course, we haven't seen every Mariners game, but in the games I have been able to see when Randy Johnson's been on the mound, he hasn't had this kind of fastball before.
And now he's ahead 0-2. Johnson comes in with an ERA over 5. He's ahead 0-2, and the crowd comes alive.
That rumbling noise you heard in the background was Cecil Fielder attempting a steal of second base. I mean, that ball was fouled into the bleachers, and I looked down, and he was still 15 feet from second base.
Cecil even laughing at that line. 0-2. See ya. So Johnson takes care of business, but not before Junior. He not only does it with a bat, but a great play in right center to save at least 1 run. Still no score.
People smile and tell me I'm the lucky one.
No score as Junior and the Mariners come to bat in the bottom half of the 4th inning against Steve Sparks, who's only surrendered 1 base hit. It'll be Joey Cora, Griffey Jr., and then Alex Rodriguez. Cora had the marvelous 97, but like his team, a very different 1998. Cora's average at 266 coming into play today. Has committed 17 errors at second base.
Well, that's the thing that's really surprising. Joey Cora has never been known for his offense. He's always been a contributor. But defense is what's kept him in the big leagues, being able to make the plays, turn the double plays. The 17 errors is a very high number for Joey Cora.
I mean, yeah, Cora's 17 errors at second. We talked earlier about Russ Davis. Committed 25 errors over the first half at third base. And their infield alone this season has 59 errors, which is most in the American League, second most in the majors behind Montreal's infield. But with the Expos, you're talking about, by and large, all very young players. This is a veteran group with Seattle. And there's strike 3 to Cora. Well, everybody talks about Junior's bat, Bobby, but none better with 11.
He can run him down. He plays a very deep center field because he comes in on the ball so well. That enables him to make plays like this against the outfield walls. Tremendous timing, steals a home run there. We saw the great speed cutting off that ball, hitting the gap last inning by Cecil Fielder. The home runs get all the notoriety, but the pitchers and the skipper love that defense.
Well, if you weren't with us earlier here on Fox, we gave you bonus coverage for those of you here in the Pacific time zone and Mountain time zones. It showed you that at bat from Mark McGwire in the 11th inning, a 2-run game-winning home run. His 38th of the season in the 89th game of the year for the Cardinals. There you see what Junior has done in the 1990s. Mark McGwire third on that list. Cecil number 4. Junior has hit his 37 home runs in 90 Mariner games.
Very familiar upright stance at the plate. Has his head facing the pitcher, both eyes on that pitcher. Slight little waggle of the bat, but not a lot of movement. Just goes after that ball. Beautiful arcing swing. Slight lift to it, gets the ball up in the air.
3 balls and 2 strikes now to Griffey. Three balls, 2 strikes. And Sparks looks in to get the sign from Nevin. Junior a long wait and wants timeout.
And when you have a pitcher like Sparks who relies on the knuckleball as his main out pitch, but yet he throws a fastball, a curveball, and a slider.
Junior gone swinging, chase one out of the zone. Bobby, I'd like to hear that thought here in a moment. First of all, our Aflac trivia question answer about the minor league players, 4 of them, who went on to become rookies of the year. Ron Kittle with the White Sox, Doc Gooden. Of course, with the Mets, Sandy Alomar. And then Tim Salmon in 1993 after being the minor league player of the year in 92.
Yeah, it's hard to say about a knuckleball pitcher and a catcher getting on the same page as far as the signals are concerned. If a guy throws all knuckleballs, a guy like Wakefield, there's not much secret. You just throw down the knuckleball sign, and that's what he's going to throw. But Sparks has shown already in the early going he likes to throw the slider. He likes to throw an occasional curveball. If he thinks the hitters are trying to tee up on the knuckleball, he'll throw his fastball. It's not very fast, but it's quite a change from the knuckleball, as you see Nevin having a hard time corralling it back there. So when you've got more than one pitch to go to, sometimes it's going to take a while. That time Sparks wanted to throw the knuckleball on the 3-1 pitch to Junior. Phil Nevin felt perhaps they should go after him with a breaking ball or a fastball, and they had to shake and shake and shake until he could get to the signal he wanted.
1-2 to Alex Rodriguez, who flied to center field in the second inning. Seattle with only 1 hit. And it'll stay that way. Shipley throws out Rodriguez, and that'll retire the side in order. We move to the 5th. Still a scoreless affair.
Starting a small business takes a burning entrepreneurial.
Pitchers duel supreme in very different fashions for Steve Sparks and Randy Johnson nonetheless. A scoreless game as we open the 5th. Angels coming to bat will send up Bachman, DiSarcina, and Erstad against Johnson, who has allowed 2 hits. He has fanned 7. Ugly swing right there on the slider, 1-1.
Boy, Justin Bachman just killed me this morning.
For what?
Went up and introduced myself. And he said the thing that former players hate to hear. I used to watch you when I was a kid. He went to high school down in San Jose, California, and was a big Giants fan growing up. I used to watch you when I was a little kid.
Well, I used to watch you as a little kid. There's strike 3 swinging. Well, guess who's on the mound? Just close your eyes and listen to the catcher's mitt popping or not.
Hardly makes a noise hitting that catcher's mitt. But Randy Johnson's fastball, it echoes around this stadium.
Saw a little grin there from Sparks. Maybe he wishes he had that kind of gas, but he has 7 strikeouts. Johnson just got number 8. But Johnson has allowed 2 hits. Sparks only 1.
Well, some of the knuckleballs Sparks have thrown today haven't hit the catcher's mitt. We saw Nevin having problems even getting leather on it back there last inning.
3-0 now to DiSarcina, who bounced out to the shortstop Rodriguez back in the 3rd inning. Anaheim, the division leaders in the American League West. A half game in front of Texas. And it's 3-1 now to DiSarcina. Seattle, meanwhile, hoping that Randy Johnson today can help propel them back into the wild card race at the very minimum. And a 3-1. White back to Johnson. Away, and right now Coors Light game break time. Let's go to Chip Carey in our Fox Network Center.
Tommy. Bob, you mentioned that AL West race. Matt Stairs has given Oakland an early lead. A two-run scoring single in the third makes it 2-0 in favor of the A's. They now head to the fifth. And by the way, Bob, even I used to watch you when I was a little kid. Back to you in Seattle.
In fact, not only Chip Carey, I understand Skip Carey, longtime voice of the Braves, used to like watching you play as a kid.
All right. All I know is I didn't have to see a trainer last week to broadcast a game.
Well, I didn't want to.
It's broken down old play-by-play guy.
You're right about that.
Got up Saturday morning last week in San Francisco to go do the Giants game, and my partner was knocked out of line. Legs were going one way, the rest of his body was going the other way. I had to go see Mark Laton, the trainer for the San Francisco Giants, to get ready to broadcast a game.
I've been in that position before, very late on a Friday or Saturday, but never on a Saturday morning.
But he'd straighten you out, and you look a little better this week.
Thank you. And thank you for all your concern.
Oh, yeah.
1-1 to Darren Erstad, has bounced to first and drawn a walk. Fastball paints the inside corner, 1-2. Where we talk about all the home run records being chased this season and the RBI mark by Gonzalez. But Erstad, one of the bright young stars, the future of this game. And he dribbles that one foul. And he broke a bat. Second one of the game for Erstad against Johnson.
Well, that's not totally unusual for Randy Johnson to go through a whole bat rack full of bats by the opposing team. When he's got that good fastball going, he can run it right in on your fist of a left-handed hitter. The big sweeping slider that he usually uses for a strikeout pitch against lefties. End up hitting that one off the end of the bat, breaking your lumber.
Erstad, 24 years young, out of Jamestown, North Dakota. What an athlete Erstad was, even going back to his high school days. You see where he ranks in the American League in doubles hits, multi-hit games, extra base hits as a leadoff man, total bases. As it goes to 2-2. Erstad, a former football star, baseball star, and track, was the 100 and 300 meter hurdle state champion.
Now, if you're a good athlete in North Dakota, you participate in all sports.
Yes. But he's gone swinging. 9 in the game for Randy Johnson. We go to the bottom of the fifth. Lots of gas in Seattle. No score.
Today,
in the Atlantic Fleet.
On board you by the U.S. Navy. Navy, let the journey begin. By Pepsi, official soft drink of Major League Baseball. By Red Lobster, come in and see for yourself why life on land is dry at Red Lobster. And by mailboxes, etc., making business easier worldwide.
Back in the Emerald City, Seattle, Washington. Now there are the goodies.
That cotton candy, I tell you, man, you get it all over your chin, everything sticks to you, fingers get sticky, you're laying in the back seat of the car on the way home, you end up with coins stuck to your fingers.
Looks like he's just getting started.
Oh yeah, when you see it turn colors like that, when it gets that wet look, that's when you have problems.
I don't know, he looks like a pro at this.
It's a tough decision. I mean, do you go straight to the cotton candy with your mouth and end up, with it looking like that, or do you pull it off in chunks and then your fingers get sticky?
Yeah.
That's a tough call. Most National League fans go straight to the cotton candy, so this kid must be a National League fan. American League fans, they kind of pick it apart with their fingers.
And there's the art of eating pizza. No score, bottom of the fifth. Sparks against Martinez. And it goes to 2-2. With 7 strikeouts, Sparks has matched his season high. He had 7 of those against the Giants on the 1st of July. His career high, 10 back in '95 at Detroit. High bouncer off the plate. Bachman throws, and he got it. Good play. So Martinez retired, And here comes the man they...
That high fly ball to left field, Jay Buhner became wishbone. He was wishing it would have gone further.
2 up, 2 down against Steve Sparks as the bone is retired. In the bottom of the 5th, and now it's Shane Monahan who has the only Seattle hit. Monahan doubled down the first base line, leading off the 3rd inning, advanced to 3rd on a ground out by Rico Rossi, but then was thrown out at home against a drawn-in infield by Bachman at second base.
There should be no surprise Monahan got thrown out being overly aggressive on the bases. He's got a hockey background. He plays everything like hockey. His great-grandfather played in the NHL. Howie Morenz, his grandfather, Boom Boom Joffrion. Both Hall of Famers, both tremendous hockey players, and he said he plays the game of baseball as if he were playing hockey.
Well, what a nice young man meeting him for the first time. And look at that. Look at Nevin. Falling all the way on his back trying to handle that pitch from Sparks.
All you can do is shake your head. Keep paddling back there. Trying to catch butterflies. Ball starts way up, comes back right towards his face. In self-defense, he swats that thing down.
Monahan tomahawking that ball down the right field line in foul ground, and it's 2-2. Boy, Sparks has given this Angel team a much-needed lift in its starting rotation, not only here today, but 3-0 since being brought up from the minor leagues, where, again, if you weren't with us, he did not win a game in 8 decisions this year.
Well, those are the kind of things that happen when you have a successful season. A couple of your starters go down, you bring a guy up from the minors, and he goes 3-0.
And it's now 2 for 2 for Monahan as he singles into center field. He's a 2-out base runner with his second Seattle hit. And let's take a look at our Michelin game summary here at the Kingdome in Seattle. Glad to have you with us on this Saturday afternoon. The Angels leaders in the American League West. And Seattle hoping to get back in the race coming in today, 13 games behind. Randy Johnson, 9 strikeouts. Sparks with 7, matching his season high, and the two teams have only combined for 4 hits, 2 apiece.
Sparks hoping to catch Monahan leaning the wrong way over there at first base. Sometimes you'll do that to a young player, a rookie, who, especially if he's already made one base running mistake in the ball game. You know he wants to make up for that mistake that he made earlier. Perhaps catch him leaning a little bit over there at first base.
Monahan, very good minor league stolen base seasons. Had 19 2 years ago, 19 again last season with stops in Memphis and Tacoma. Oh, and 2 to Rossi.
In the count 0-2, this may be a good time to throw a pitch out. Third base coach for the Mariners, Steve Smith, went through a long series of signs to Monahan over there at first. They're going to try the pickoff attempt before delivering a pitch to home plate. But with the 0-2 count, you've got a couple of pitches to play with here, and if you think they're going to try to steal that runner into scoring position, this is a good opportunity to throw a pitch out.
Straight away center field. That's Edmonds, and that's the inning. One hit, one left, end of 5. Still no score in Seattle.
For 100 years, Biv the Michelin Man has symbolized our never-ending quest to invent the best tires in the world. Michelin, celebrating 100 years of innovation.
Well, a couple of mistakes on the base pass. Edmonds for Anaheim. And for Seattle, the rookie Shane Monahan. It's added up to a scoreless game as Anaheim comes to bat here in the 6th inning. 2, 3, and 4 in the batting order. Shipley, Edmonds, and Salmon against Johnson, who's fan 9. And it's 2 balls and no strikes.
You know, we talked about this in the past. More often than not, when you run into a couple of pitchers that are on top of their game, and it appears that both these pitchers are throwing the way they want to today, a mistake is what's going to turn the ball game, either a physical mistake or a mental mistake. And the mistakes so far have balanced out. Both teams have made a base-running gaffe that have cost their team a chance to score a run.
Randy Johnson a strikeout away from notching his 93rd appearance in the major leagues, where he struck out 10 or more batters. And now he's a strike away. And that's 3rd best all time with 92 games, 10 or more strikeouts. As Johnson looks in above the glove for the 2-2. The 2-2 to Shipley. And there's the 10th strikeout for Randy Johnson.
Here's the running mistakes that we were talking about back in the 3rd inning. Runner at third base, breaks for home on a ground ball right to the second baseman. And then in the 4th inning, Jim Edmonds at second base tries to advance on a comebacker to Randy Johnson. He gets hung up in a rundown. And that pretty much ended that Angels threat. Edmonds had reached on a walk, stole second base, and was there with nobody outs in the inning. And because he got caught in that rundown and eliminated, that made it a pretty easy inning.
Edmonds has been aboard twice. He has singled, walked, and stolen the base. And he takes a strike. It has been a tough year for Randy Johnson, although he has been in top form here today. You see his last 5 starts, and a little misleading. I mean, strikeouts are great. But, for example, you saw the last start where Johnson struck out 12 batters. Well, that's fine. But in 8 innings, he allowed 9 hits and 8 earned runs in a loss against Texas.
Now, the strikeouts don't tell the whole story.
Well, it all started during the wintertime. Johnson a free agent at the end of the year. And Seattle came public with the decision that they were not going to give Johnson a long-term contract at the end of this year. Johnson infuriated when he heard about that decision. And I mean, you just got to tell it like it is. And people will tell you off the record that Johnson, in every way imaginable, has been a major distraction of this Seattle team. He came out in spring training right from the very beginning of workouts, ripped the Seattle organization. He always says very nice things about the fans, but he is most unhappy the way Seattle has treated him. He demanded a trade. It looked like that was going to happen, and then everything fell through, at least for the time being. Seattle came out during all the rumored deals as Edmonds has gone on strikes, 11th of the game for Johnson. And the club decided we're not going to trade him. He is going to play the rest of this season with the Mariners. His career profile, staggering. He's been great. But will he be here if Seattle can't get any closer? Will they change their mind and trade their ace?
I think if they don't, they're making a huge mistake. I mean, he's a free agent at the end of the season. The animosity that is built up between Randy Johnson and his agent and the organization. As you see Tim Salmon single into center field. It's just too much to overcome. As you mentioned, Tom, it's become a huge distraction for the ball club. Nobody will admit such, but you know it has been a big distraction. If they let him play out the remainder of the season and walk away as a free agent, that would be one of the dumbest moves an organization could ever make. I really feel they're going to deal him before the end of the trading deadline.
I mean, all the other players have been dragged into it. Ken Griffey Jr. suggested recently that perhaps the two sides ought to wipe the slate clean and try to start all over again to see if they can't work out a long-term contract for Johnson. But Johnson wants no part of it. And quite frankly, it's tough to tell whether the organization wants him back at this point.
This Seattle organization has had some problems making decisions in the past. I mean, we talked to Lou Piniella about their lack of defense. They were a poor defensive ball club last year. They came back with the same players they had last season. They were a poor bullpen last year. They come back this year with the same bullpen they had last year. Those guys aren't just going to get better over the offseason. You have to improve somehow. And there was really no effort made on the part of ownership to make any improvements in this ball club. What you have now is a ball club that's a year older than they were last year. And I don't see any major improvements, and if anything, the contract squabbles with Randy Johnson have made this team much worse than they were last year.
Well, the Mariners have not thrown in the towel to get back in the race this season. We remember what they did in '95, catching Anaheim after falling 11.5 behind as late as the 16th of August, and caught the Angels to win the West after a one-game playoff. 3-2 to Fielder. 1 on, 2 out. Strikeout number 12. And Johnson mowing down Anaheim in front of the crowd today.
Welcome to the newest Pep Boys Automotive Super Center. On your right, a world-class collection of accessories. And moving along, you'll find the tires.
Impressive! Very!
Do pause to notice the thousands of name-brand parts in stock.
You can't do it all in one day.
Finally, watch technicians fix everything from rack and pinion to radiators.
You're gonna love it.
Pep Boys.
Cars like us.
People love us.
The Arm & Hammer Challenge. Now that you've worked up a sweat, put our antiperspirant under one arm and one without baking soda under the other. This odor sensor beeps when it detects odor, but Arm & Hammer absorbed and eliminated the odor.
Wow. Tomorrow I'll use it under both arms.
How do you get this equipment to these troops when there's a river between them? Build a bridge. Problem solving. You need it now in college. Learn it now in the Army Reserve.
All that you can be.
Now on video, prepare for an unimaginable evil. Denzel Washington in an excellent supernatural thriller, says the LA Times. It will literally grab you.
They move by touch.
Leave my family alone. Fallen. Rented today on video and DVD.
If your car's sluggish, or you sometimes use a lower quality gasoline, pour a bottle of Techron Concentrate Fuel System Cleaner in your tank. Then fill it with gas. Get the performance you paid for with Techron Concentrate from Chevron.
Major League Baseball and Polygram Video present Major League Beat, hosted by LL Cool J. Major League Beat is a chart-busting grand slam video of baseball's house rockin' heroes and today's hottest music. Major League Beat is available July 14th at Suncoast, Sam Goody, and video stores everywhere. A message from Major League Baseball.
Randy Johnson comes in to the game in ERA over 5, but he's mighty pumped up for this start today.
Lou Piniella talked about Randy Johnson's intensity, and when he is really plugged into a ball game, how fierce a competitor he is, and it certainly looks like Randy Johnson is plugged in today.
Well, the Mariners come to bat against Steve Sparks, who just as effectively has taken care of this Mariner batting order as Johnson has to the Angels. Weak roller off the bat of Marzano. Shipley throws him out. Seattle only 2 hits against Sparks. He has not walked a batter. He struck out a season-high 7.
I mentioned the extra inning ball game last night. Both teams got home rather late, and these are the two absolutely worst pitchers you could possibly face after a long extra inning night game followed by a day game.
Amaral drills one to right center, but Edmonds had him played perfectly.
You've got one guy that throws a knuckleball, moves all over the place. You've had very little sleep. Back early the next day to the ballpark, you got to battle the knuckler, and the other pitcher going 100 miles an hour, for crying out loud.
See what Sparks has done against the top 3 in the Mariner batting order today. We remind you, next Saturday, it'll either be the Dodgers and the Cardinals or the Giants and the Astros. For those of you out west, the Dodgers perfect post All-Star break, knocking off division-leading San Diego in back-to-back games, and the Dodgers feel like after the acquisition of Jeff Shaw from Cincinnati, an All-Star closer of the Reds, now with Los Angeles, they can get back in the race, the wild card race. It's going to be mighty tough for the Dodgers realistically to catch San Diego, or in that Western Division, there's a base hit by Cora in the right. So the inning continues for Junior. Junior, 37 home runs, has homered in each of the first 2 games after the All-Star break. And he looks at a strike. But Sparks has struck him out twice swinging today.
And Griffey Jr., we're going to get a look at his home runs by direction. 7 to left field, 4 to center, and as you might expect, 26 to right field. He really takes advantage, especially here in the Kingdome, of that short porch in right field. The swing is naturally an uppercut, as I mentioned earlier. Lifts that ball to right field. He's hit just as many in the upper deck here in right field as he has anywhere. Put on quite a show at the home run derby at the All-Star game, hitting balls into the upper deck in right field.
Ken Griffey Jr., the first player selected in the June 1987 draft out of Cincinnati's famed Moeller High School.
And a lot of the Mariners fans rooting for number 38 from Jr.
I mean, it seems like Griffey has been around forever. 28 years old. 28!
That's what happens when you come to the big league straight from the senior prom, you know.
And that's literally what happened.
You see Phil Nevin back there battling that knuckleball again. But look at Junior's numbers.
9 All-Star games, and he's 28. In the air down the left field line, a long run for Erstad. He can't get there.
Well, you saw the graphic on home runs by direction, most of them coming, the overwhelming majority coming to right field. And the Anaheim Angels are playing him accordingly. Erstad was way over in the gap in left center. It was a 100-yard sprint just to get close to that foul ball. Junior scouting report on an obvious pull hitter with great power. Crushes the ball middle away and up. The pitch we just saw there got under it a little bit, lifted it foul. Very dangerous hitter with 2 strikes. He's got 14 home runs with a 2-strike count.
And he draws the walk.
Well, it's well known Junior was not going to participate in the home run contest. He heard some boos in batting practice, changed his mind, talked to some of his teammates, and decided he would participate after all. Boy, that made the rest of the players happy. I mean, he was just launching balls into the thin air at Coors Field.
And he edged out Jim Thome of the Cleveland Indians to win the home run hitting contest. I spent a better part of the morning with his father yesterday down in Phoenix. He said, hey, I know my son's having a great year, but just do me one favor when you see him. I said, what's that? He said, tell him to send his dad some money.
That usually works the other way around.
2 on, 2 out. And Alex Rodriguez takes inside ball 1. A-Rod is fly to center and bounce to third. Seattle a scoring chance in this scoreless game in the bottom of the 6th. A 2-out single by Cora, who's now at second after a walk to Junior. 2-0.
Now Sparks starting to lose that strike zone with the knuckleball. This is when he becomes very susceptible. When he goes to his regular pitches, his fastball, his slider, his curveball, very hittable pitches. Not too long getting the signs that time from Nevin, so Rodriguez steps out, regroups, and do it again.
2-0 to Alex Rodriguez. 2 on and 2 out. 3-0.
You see the American League home run leaders. Junior atop the pack, and his teammate Alex Rodriguez second in the American League with 27 homers. Man, 27 bombs halfway through the season from a shortstop. How the game has changed.
3-0, and there's ball 4. So the Mariners have the bases loaded as Sparks is all of a sudden gone wild.
And he stuck with the knuckleball throughout that at-bat to Alex Rodriguez. Normally when he falls behind in the count, he'll go to the little slider, maybe try to sneak a fastball on the outside corner. That time he stuck with the knuckleball throughout the at-bat.
Well, the Mariners have failed badly. In these situations, you see the career numbers on Martínez, but as a club, they have been brutal with the bases loaded. And there's ball 1. As a team, they are hitting 161, 10 hits in 62 at bat. And Dan Wilson has 3 of those hits. Last year as a club, they hit 365 with the bases loaded. 2 away in the inning. And it's 2-0 to Martínez.
Worst in the major leagues with the bases loaded. Well, that's an amazing statistic for a team with so many professional hitters, guys that are used to being in RBI situations and thrive on these situations.
In there, strike 2 and 1, Edgar Martínez. Four at third, Junior at second, Rodriguez at first, 2 away, no score, last to the 6th, and the 2-1 is into left center field, base hit. Cora scored. Griffey scored. 2-0 Seattle.
Well, the inability to get ahead in the count forced Steve Sparks to go to a fastball away to Edgar Martínez. Martínez has been watching the prior at-bats. He knows the man is struggling with his knuckleball. He's sitting on something out over the plate. He gets the fastball, drives it into left center field. And when you take away a knuckleball pitcher's knuckleball, he becomes very, very hittable.
Runners on the corner, still away for Jay Buhner. And Nevin able to just knock that one down. It's ball one. For Buhner, his third week back since returning from knee surgery. Says he's still going through his equivalent of spring training as it goes to a ball and a strike.
And it figures he was going to have plateaus as he came back from that knee injury. Just like you go through plateaus in spring training. Guys feel very good when camp starts. They go through some initial soreness. Then you hear him talk about dead arm. I feel like I have a dead arm. There's nothing there. Well, those are the peaks and valleys you go through as your body gets in shape to play this game on a daily basis. Jay Buhner, although he's in the lineup, is probably not in everyday playing condition yet.
A 2-run, 2-out, bases loaded single by Edgar Martinez has broken the scoreless game. And now the 1-2 to Buhner. Boy, Nevin having all kinds of problems catching the baseball from Sparks here in the 6th.
Well, somebody other than Edgar Martinez at first base, you may see Lou Piniella start the runner over there. You mentioned Nevin is catching about every other pitch right now.
Rodriguez at third, Martinez at first. 3-2 now to Buhner. And the man who has given Sparks the most trouble today is in the on-deck circle. Marcel Latchman dialing the Angel bullpen. Monahan, 2 of 2, waits on deck. The bases are loaded again. Sparks had not walked a batter in the first 5 2/3 innings. He's walked 3 of the last 4.
We're going to get a look at the sequence to Edgar Martinez leading up to the base hit. Misses with the knuckleball up high. Tries to come inside with a fastball, just misses. Throws a little slider on the outside corner for a strike. Tries to come back with a fastball out there. Edgar Martinez hits it off the end of the bat to drive in the first 2 runs of the ball game.
Nevin out to stall for a little time. Angel bullpen busy. Pep Harris, the right-hander, starts to throw.
And we mentioned that knuckleball is very much a feel pitch. And apparently Sparks has lost the feel on that pitch. He's been leaving a lot of them up high out of the strike zone. Missing wide. Early in the game, it seemed like he was just throwing it straight for the catcher's mask and letting the ball move where it will. Now he's really having trouble just getting it to the catcher.
Bases loaded, 2 in, 2 out. And Monahan first pitch swinging. A ground ball to the shortstop, and they get the force at second base. 2 runs home. We go to the 7th. 2-0 Seattle. It follows this message from your local station.
400 minutes, just $39.95.
What's for dinner? I don't know, chicken. Can you hold on? I don't think I'm going to get out until late.
Call now and get free long distance for 6 months. So get Voice Stream and get more from life.
Hello.
Randy Johnson takes a mound, open the 7th inning, now spotted with a 2-0 lead. Johnson has fanned 12. He's only surrendered 3 base hits. But quickly 2-0 to Phil Nevin. He'll be followed by Damon Mayshore and then Bachman. Two and one.
Well, when a major league hitter gets the count to 2 balls and no strikes, and a pitcher can still throw a fastball right down the middle of the plate, and you don't even get a piece of it, that tells you that the pitcher's got a little extra on that fastball today.
Well, John Marzano got a piece of that foul tip off of his finger. He's going to walk around for a minute and try to shake that off. You remember those days, Bob Brenly.
Oh, all too well. I mean, my hand hurts right now. Well, most catchers put that meat hand behind their back with nobody on base. They get the throwing hand out of the way in the event of a foul tip or something like we just saw. You can see he's got that bare hand just hanging there. You can see it was very loose, though. He didn't have a tight fist. They teach catchers to keep a loose hand if you're going to leave it out there. And you can see he got whacked pretty good with that foul tip. Dan Wilson looking on. He can certainly understand what that feels like. But had Marzano had his fist clenched, he probably would have broken a couple of knuckles on that foul ball.
Well, Marzano, one of the real colorful characters in baseball, having gotten the chance to get to know him these last couple of years. Always gracious enough to join us. We want to talk to him about anything. Lou Piniella, his ball club, Randy Johnson, as that one is fouled away. It's still 3-2 to Nevin.
You know, that's generally the case. If you look around baseball, the backup catchers are usually very easy guys to get along with. They'll talk to anybody that'll talk to them. When you spend your whole life squatting down in a bullpen, you're thankful to talk to somebody.
Popped up. And in fair ground, it'll be Rossi. Well, among other topics, we talked to John Marzano about as he goes to the mound. What's it like to visit the mound?
The number one thing is, first of all, I'm embarrassed to go out to the mound because I'm 5'10". He's gigantic. And my daughter told me last time I caught him, she goes, "Daddy, do me a favor, don't go out to the mound anymore." She goes, "It's embarrassing. He towers over you." So that's the number one thing. And usually, if I do go to the mound, I'll stand far away, so you know it's not that bad. I don't look that short out there.
There's a way to remedy that. Just have Randy come down off the mound, let Marzano stand on the rubber. They'd be about the same height then.
About. 0-1 to Damon Mayshore.
The thing about taking a foul tip off that throwing hand, as Marzano did earlier in the inning, is catchers are constantly pounding their gloves. Pounding that bare hand into the glove, trying to keep that pocket formed. There you go. Bending the edges down on the glove, and you're just hammering on an area that just got hit with a baseball.
Now 0-2 to Mayshore.
Now he's shaking the other hand. He'll have to hold that glove in his teeth pretty soon.
Johnson eyeing his 13th strikeout. It's a ball and 2 strikes. One and 2 to Mayshore. Strikeout 13. Well, then we went on to our chat with Marzano to ask him what it's like to try and catch Randy Johnson.
Trying to catch Randy Johnson is one of the toughest things I've ever done. I call Roger Clemens also. He was tough, but he's nowhere near as tough as Randy Johnson. You could set up inside, and then he throws you a fastball 99 miles an hour up and away, and it's tough to reach for that ball. So it's kind of tough to relax back here and try to frame and relax and keep the ball in the strike zone because his ball moves so much and he throws so hard.
2 down, nobody on. 2-0 Seattle lead here in the 7th, and there's a strike to Bachman, who is 0 for 2. See, the only inning Johnson did not record a strikeout was in the 3rd, as that one is fouled away. That was the inning, if you weren't with us. Darren Erstad drew a 2-out walk, but then Shipley bounced into a fielder's choice to end the inning. So now Johnson a strike away from getting his 2nd strikeout of this 7th inning, his 14th of the afternoon. In Seattle, and Randy Johnson and the Mariners on a 2-0 lead, much to the delight of young and old alike when the big unit takes the mound. Steve Sparks has pitched a very good game as well. He's only given up 2 runs on 4 base hits, but got wild in the 6th. He walked 3 batters, fell behind 2 others, including a 2-0 2-run bases loaded single on a pitch to Edgar Martinez. Rico Rossi, John Marzano, and then Rich Amaral here in the Seattle 7th inning. And the 2-1. 3 balls and a strike. See the line on Sparks. His 115th pitch is ball 4. And you'll probably see the Anaheim bullpen get started in a hurry. Yep.
Yeah, Pep Harris was up down there last inning. He should be about ready to enter the ball game. Just a few pitches and he'll be ready to go. And if Terry Collins wanted to get a reliever into the ball game, Harris, with a few pitches in the bullpen, 8 more when he gets out to the mound, he would be ready to come into the ball game right now.
Greg Cataray, the left-hander, getting up. Along with Harris, there's a butt foul by Marzano.
Now, this is why I find it all the more amazing Pudge Rodriguez is able to maintain a .347 batting average as a catcher. We just saw John Marzano take a foul tip off his throwing hand, his bare hand last inning, then took a foul tip off his left hand in his glove, hit him in the palm. Now half an inning later, you're up there with a bat in your hand expected to hit the ball. And Pudge Rodriguez does it.
He's always been your guy, Pudge Rodriguez.
My guy.
The 0-1, and Marzano bunts it up the first base line. Perfectly done, and Cecil bounces one over there to Justin Bachman, and very lucky to get the out. Well, let's go for a Coors Light game break to our buddy Chip Carey at our Fox Network Center.
This is Ed Ferguson describing the highlights in the World Series of 1935.
And, Tommy, I think you'll enjoy this. There's Bob Brenly, the All-American, performing in that World Series. Yes, indeed. I think this is the Bob Brenly that you and I both remember as youngsters so very long ago. Back to you.
Like you are. Boy, you've changed.
Did you like my stance, though?
Yeah, it's a lot.
Not many guys would have thought to go up to the plate upside down, but the way I figured, that way the curveball is coming up to you rather than down away from you.
And you always liked that pitch that came more up.
Yeah, the old upshoot. Back then, obviously, they didn't have dress codes or team rules concerning hair length.
Yes. We have a crack staff in Hollywood all over the career of Bob Brenly.
Okay. This could be war.
Sacrifice bunt put down by Marzano. And Rossi in scoring position. Terry Collins' Anaheim Angels could find themselves in second place before this day is through. Only a half-game lead over Texas in the American League West. The Rangers, however, trailing in the 8th inning to Oakland 2-0.
Well, it's never too early to scoreboard watch, and you can be sure Terry Collins has one eye on this ball game and one eye on that scoreboard.
3-1 now to Amaral with Cora on deck. Cataray and Harris ready in the bullpen. Texas not playing all that well lately either. We talked about the Angels. They've lost 9 of 11. While the Rangers have lost 7 of 10. The 5th walk in the last inning and a 3rd issued by Sparks. And his day is through. Collins wants the left-hander Cataray to face Cora. We'll take a break and be right back.
If your car's sluggish, or you sometimes use a lower quality...
Your seatbelts. Baseball's departing daily from a major league ballpark near you. Who's going to crush 62 before the season is through? Don't miss a minute.
Fox NFL Sunday, featuring me, James Brown. Oh, yeah, here we go.
Fox NFL Sunday returns this fall.
You know, we've got a good ball club. We just got to keep playing, and certainly the only way we're ever going to establish ourselves is to win a division. That's where it's got to start. And so right now, that's all we're worried about. We aren't worried about anybody else but us. Whether we don't concern ourselves with the publicity we're getting in Southern California compared to the Dodgers. We don't worry about what the Texas Rangers or the Seattle Mariners are doing. We can only worry about what we're doing, and I think that's the only way we're going to get through the next couple months.
Well, they're on the short end of a 2-0 game here today in the 7th inning. Greg Cataray out of the bullpen delivers a strike to Joey Cora with 2 on and 1 out. Steve Sparks pitched very well here today.
Through the first 5 innings of this ball game, he was in command, gave up only the 2 base hits. but then suddenly in the 6th inning just seemed to lose that knuckleball. Couldn't get it in the strike zone. Had to come in with his more traditional pitches, the sinker, the slider, much more hittable pitches, and the Mariners were able to break through. Good look at Cataray's numbers on the season. Striking out a batter an inning, low walk total. Turns Joey Cora around to the right side of the plate where he's not as good a hitter. And also Cataray will be on hand to face the next batter, who's not a switch hitter.
Nope. Rossi at second base, Amaral on at first with one away, and the 1-1 to Joey Cora. Fastball strike on the outside edge. See the disparity, left and right-handed for Cora. Cataray, 36 years old. And the 1-2 in the dirt. And Cora dancing out of the way of Phil Nevin.
Look at that little two-step. Ball in the dirt. Nevin blocks it into the batter's box. Joey's just trying to get out of the way. Well, Joey Cora is one guy that even John Marzano could post up.
Yes. 2-2 to Cora. Got him swinging for out number 2. I want to remind you this week on In the Zone, Ken Griffey Jr. gave us another lesson from his Junior's Jargon segment. The word for this week was wheelhouse. And if you have ever seen one of Griffey's patented home run shots, the word takes on a whole new meaning. So learn it all in another edition of Junior's Jargon, Saturdays on In the Zone.
In the zone! And that wheelhouse varies from hitter to hitter. Junior's wheelhouse would have to be out over the plate, preferably down below the belt. A ball that he can just golf out of here to right field.
2 on, 2 out. Mark McGwire hit his 38th home run of the season in the 11th inning with a man aboard to win the game for St. Louis over Houston 4-3. Junior comes in with 37 home runs, and in his career against Cataray, Junior 7 hits and 16 at-bats with no home runs. 2-0.
Yeah, McGwire had gone, well, depending on what he did his first 3 or 4 trips to the plate today, probably about 18 at-bats without a home run, which is ridiculous for him. He was hitting a home run about every 9 at-bats through the first half of the season. So quite a drought.
Well, Roger Maris did not hit his 38th home run until July the 25th in that 1961 season. And that was in the 95th game for the Yankees of that year. McGwire again gets to 38 in his 89th game today. That one gets through Nevin all the way to the screen, and both runners advance as it's gone to 3-0 on Griffey.
Nevin's had problems behind the plate with the knuckleball. Now he has problems with a fastball from Greg Cataray. Just does not get the glove down in position to catch the ball. Looked like he was anticipating that ball hitting in the dirt further out in front of home plate. Never got the glove down to cover that 5-hole, and it got through.
3-0 to Junior. And there's ball 4. The bases are loaded. So now Terry Collins will summon the right-hander Pep Harris to come on and face right-handed batting Alex Rodriguez. Bases juiced, 2 away. Back in a moment.
Hey, California, Dr. Scholes wants to know, how far do you run?
35 miles a week. 10 miles.
Well, John Marzano taking inventory over on the Mariners bench. He already took 1 foul ball off the right hand. Has a bruise there on the left hand from a foul tip off the bat last inning. Trying to massage all the bone chips back into place, and he's even got a boo-boo on his forearm. Got a bruise behind his left ear he's working on right there. And his nose hurts. Boy, I tell you, that's tough duty. I got a lot of respect for those guys. Not an easy way to make a living, but it sure is rewarding.
Alex Rodriguez will face the new Anaheim right-hander Pep Harris with the bases loaded.
Look at Harris's numbers. Very few decisions. He usually comes in games that the Angels are trailing. Rich DeLucia is the right-handed setup guy for Troy Percival when they're winning a ball game. Harris coming on here trying to stop the bleeding this inning, get his team back in the dugout.
Well, the Mariners scored on a 2-out bases-loaded single in the 6th inning by Edgar Martinez. And now they have the bases loaded 2 away here in the 7th. Ball 1 to Alex Rodriguez. Rodriguez is fly to center, bounced to third, and walked. See the runners, Rossi, Amaral, and Jr. In there, a strike. Rodriguez among the bright young shortstop stars in the American League, along with Nomar Garcia-Parra of Boston and Derek Jeter of the Yankees. But Rodriguez leads the group in both home runs and runs batted in. And the 1-1. A little bit low and away on the breaking ball. Bases loaded, 2 down. Harris, the 2-1 to Rodriguez. In there, a strike called on the inside edge, knee high.
Good four-seam fastball that time by Pep Harris. He'll sink his fastball as well. I would anticipate he's going to go to something down low in the zone and sinking, either the hard sinker, the hard slider. Definitely want to keep that ball on the ground in the infield if possible.
Big pitch right here on the 2-2 to Rodriguez. And here she comes. On the ground in the infield. Cecil's got it. Inning over. Good relief work by Canare and Harris. We go to the 8th. Still 2-0. Seattle.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Here we go.
Fox NFL Sunday returns this fall.
Young Seattle fans enjoying this Randy Johnson performance. A 2-0 ball game. Johnson has fanned 14 through 7 innings. It'll be DeSarcina, Erstad, and Shipley here in the Anaheim 8th. On the ground, and there is Amaral. He'll feed Johnson. 1 pitch, 1 out.
Well, as Randy Johnson came off the mound last inning, as you get a look at the strikeouts today by the Angels hitters, DeSarcina, the only man in the lineup not to strike out against Randy Johnson. We saw Randy Johnson talking to the pitching coach, Stan Williams. Then Stan Williams went and talked to Lou Piniella and indicated that perhaps this would be the last inning for Randy Johnson. But if he has a quick pitch inning, I would surely expect him to be back out there for the 9th.
Well, 1 away here in the 8th, and Erstad the batter. Takes inside. Erstad has bounced to first, drawn a walk, and struck out.
Especially given the Seattle bullpen woes the last couple of years, why take a chance? And if I'm Randy Johnson, I don't give Lou Piniella the ball.
1-1 to Erstad, an American League All-Star, as we mentioned. Appeared in the game at Anaheim. He couldn't stop talking about that experience at Coors Field in Denver before the game today. And we'll share some of those thoughts from Darren Erstad about that All-Star experience in a moment. That's his 3rd broken bat of the game. Johnson can't find the handle, and Erstad aboard.
We talked about the error problems with this Seattle ball club, and Randy Johnson right in there with his teammates. That's his 6th error of the season. I mean, this is just too easy. Little 2-hopper off the AstroTurf. No bad hop there. Just kind of misplayed it into a in-between hop. If he comes in a step or backs up a step, he gets a clean hop. He plays it right in the middle. Can't come up with it.
What was Lou Piniella's quote before the game today? Is that one is hammered foul down the left field line? We asked him about his defense.
He says, crying out loud, we play on a rug. We never get bad hops. We still can't catch the ball.
Says he's never seen anything like it, and said if he lives till his 55th birthday later on this year, he said he could live another 55 years and still see nothing like it. How bad this Mariner team has been defensively. That is their first error of the game today. They are the worst fielding team in the American League, and now the Major League. One and one to Shipley.
That's Johnson's 118th pitch in this ball game, which isn't really a lot for Randy Johnson. He threw 141 pitches in his last outing, 135 before that, 124 before that, 140. He's used to throwing a lot of pitches.
In the air, shallow right field. This could be trouble. Buhner cannot get there in time. And advancing on to second is Erstad. So an error by Johnson, a bloop single by Shipley, and all of a sudden, the Angels mounting a charge. And they have a man in Jim Edmonds coming to the plate who hit 2 home runs last season against Randy Johnson. And bear in mind, Johnson only gave up 4 home runs the entire year to left-handed batter.
I think we saw the result of the premature return of Jay Buhner from a knee injury. Not able to catch up with that little fly ball. It was in the air for a long time, but Buhner not able to get there.
See what Edmonds has done today. A single, drawn a walk, stolen a base, struck out his last trip in the 6th. Moved off the plate with that fastball was Edmonds, 1-1.
Yeah, Jay Buhner's giving it what he's got, but I tell you, that knee, especially playing on this turf, cannot feel real stable underneath him.
Slider on the outside corner, a called strike. 1-2 to Edmonds as Timlin begins to throw in the bullpen in a hurry.
Johnson has Edmonds in that rocking chair now. Busted him inside with a fastball off the plate, pushed him away, and then comes back with a breaking ball right on the outside corner. Fastball right down the chute that time, but you could see Edmonds was well tardy on that pitch, just trying to protect the plate. Sometimes that's all you can do is talk to the catcher and the umpire and laugh about it. Jeez, I knocked that ball right out of your glove, didn't I?
2 on, 1 out, 1-2 to Edmonds. Struck him out, number 15 for Johnson. And right now, a Coors Light game break. Again, Chip Carey, our Fox Network center.
Okay, guys, how about Big Mac? He sees the ball, he hits the ball. In the 11th inning of Billy Wagner, Big Mac's 38th home run ball of the year. And the Cardinals knock off the Astros 4-3 in dramatic fashion at Busch Stadium. Back to you at the Kingdome.
Watch how Randy Johnson went about getting Jim Edmonds. A very crucial situation of the ball game. Starts him off with the slider for a called strike. Pushes him off the plate there with the hard fastball at the knees. Paints the outside corner with a slider. A very late swing on a fastball and a very weak swing on a flat slider up in the zone.
That one off the glove of Marzano, and both runners will advance. Erstad to third, Shipley to second. The tying run is Shipley at second base.
It sends a tying run into scoring position with 2 outs in the inning here. We've mentioned throughout the ball game that Marzano's a little beat up back there behind the plate. Both hands have been hammered in this ball game. That one just hits off the thumb of the mitt. Gets away far enough for both runners to advance.
Tim Salmon with a 1-0 count. Drills one into left field, and that ball will be caught. Shane Monahan. A diving play in left to keep the shutout intact, and Johnson will high-five him on the way home.
The 59th left fielder to play next to Ken Griffey Jr. makes a great sliding catch.
Does Johnson want it? You betcha.
Welcome to the newest Pep Boys Automotive Supercenter, home to a world-class collection of accessories, parts, tires, and service.
You're gonna love it.
Pep Boys. Cars like us. People love us.
There's a medical emergency, but no hospital. What do? Build one. Leadership. Learn it now in the Army Reserve. Use it now in your career.
There's a school where the toughest courses are the most popular. Lectures are a joy, and no one ever cuts class. This renowned institution is the Nicholas Flick Golf School.
Can you feel that? Yeah. Baseball Game of the Week, brought to you by Pep Boys. Cars like us, people love us. By the United States Army Reserve, be all you can be. By Aflac, insuring over 40 million people worldwide. And by Visa, it's everywhere you want to be.
Well, we head for the bottom half of the 8th inning. The Mariners batting for what they hope will be the final time today, leading 2-0 thanks to that man, Shane Monahan. With 2 on and 2 out in the 8th inning, made a diving play on a sinking line drive off the bat of Tim Salmon to keep it at 2-0.
Well, you know, the Mariners hope that Monahan is the answer in left field. I mentioned 59 players have played next to Ken Griffey Jr. in left field. Some of them good glove, no bat. Some of them good bat, no glove. They hope Monahan is a total package, and he's getting the fans fired up here. They're not used to seeing left fielders make diving shoestring catches, and neither is Randy Johnson, and this place went crazy with that great catch in left field.
You know, the amazing thing is only 3 of the players have played in left field as many as 81 games. That's half of the season. Rick Briley, Henry Cotto, and Rich Amaral. And there have been some pretty big names that have been out there in left field next to Junior. Ken Griffey Sr., that was at the tail end of his career. Vince Coleman, your old buddy Jeffrey Leonard, our buddy Kevin Mitchell, Mark Witt. And they thought Jose Cruz Jr. would be there for a long time prior to the trade last year to get Spoljaric and Timlin. It's kind of funny how things turn around, and you never know if they'll swing back the other way. But not many people getting all over Woody Woodward now, as Jose Cruz Jr. has been sent back to the minor leagues.
And Timlin has been very effective as of late out of the Mariners bullpen. The lone bright light down in that Mariners bullpen.
Three and 2 to Edgar Martinez. Jay Buhner waits on deck. And a weak roller at the shortstop, D. Sarcina, 1 away. Well, hey, we know you love this tune by George Thurman. Jay Buhner never wants to hear that song again.
Well, he's 0 for 3 in a ball game, but he's still bad to the bone.
George Thorogood, and who was with him then? Not the Destroyers.
The Delaware Destroyers.
Hope you enjoyed. A little rock and roll here today. I mean, after all, we're in Seattle.
Home of grunge?
Yeah, but I don't think Buhner's much of a grunge guy. Good play by Harris. Off the bat. A Monahan. 1, 2, 3. Go the Mariners. We head for the ninth. Johnson in Seattle, a 2-0 lead.
Man, this gray hair makes me look old.
And do what I did. Get rid of it.
You were gray? I never knew that.
No one can tell you use the remarkable hair coloring called Just for Men. Simply shampoo in, then...
Monahan, a native of Wheeler, Georgia. A big play defensively in this ball game. On a sinking line drive by Tim Salmon with 2 on and 2 out in the 8th inning. Made a diving play, and it's 2-0 Seattle as the Angels bat in the 9th inning against Johnson, who has fanned 15 for the 3rd time this season. His career high 19 strikeouts. Twice he's done that against the White Sox on August 8th of last year and Oakland on June 24th last season. 2-1 to Fielder. He'll be followed by Phil Nevin and Damon Mayshore. Randy Johnson without a shutout this season. Here's the 2-1 pitch. 3-1.
You can see he's still throwing 96, 97 miles an hour. Hasn't lost anything off that fastball. I guess the scouting report we had on him was in air. Lost some velocity.
Well, he's ready today, as it's now 3-2 to Fielder. When Monahan, after making the great play defensively, certainly making amends for that base running mistake early in the game as Fielder stays alive. In fact, after that base running mistake, Steve Smith wearing a microphone.
Good that you're pumped up and everything like that, but play smart, play the game, okay?
He's saying it's understandable you're pumped up, you know, rookie, 3rd game in the big leagues, but play the game smart. Make a running catch, shoestring catch.
3-2 to Fielder. Into center field. It drops in front of Junior. A base hit, so the tying run will come to the plate. Talked about that catch by Shane Monahan. It is our Red Lobster catch of the day. It came in the 8th with 2 on and 2 out.
Well, it was a big play because of the situation, tying run at second base, but also that ball is hooking and sinking. Shane Monahan has only played a couple of games here at the Kingdome, but came in and made the nice rolling, tumbling shoestring catch.
Mike Timlin again warming up in the Seattle bullpen as he was in the 8th inning. There's a check swing by Nevin, who went too far. Well, that's the 4th time he's chased that pitch in the last 2 at-bats.
That's that hard slider from Randy Johnson. It's not the big sweeping breaking ball we're used to seeing from Johnson. It's a shorter, quicker, harder slider.
Popped up, should be the first out of the night. And it is. You know, Bobby, while I have a moment, I've broadcast the NFL on Fox the last 5 seasons with Ron Pitts, a very dear friend, and certainly our thoughts, prayers, and condolences out to the family of Ron Pitts, the passing of his father. Elijah Pitts, former great Green Bay Packer running back who passed away yesterday. Well, very sad news, and I can't remember who the player that made the quote was that played with Elijah Pitts, but said he was everything that was great about the human spirit. What a wonderful man. And Ronnie, I know it's a tough time for you and her family, but I know you'll make it through. And this may be all. Out at second. Double play. Johnson has thrown a 5-hit shutout and strikes out 15. And Bobby, if the Mariners hope to get back in the race, they need performances just like this from Randy Johnson and a few others.
Yeah, not only Randy Johnson, the rest of the starting rotation needs to get deeper in the ball game. Take the bullpen out of the game. Give those guys a chance to rest up and regroup and get their minds right. I mentioned Timlin's been throwing much better out of the pen. If they can just get their starters deeper into the ball game, the Mariners might have a chance.
Our producer, Michael Weissman, our director, Jim Lynch. And for our entire Fox crew, Bob Brindley, I'm Tom Brenneman saying so long from Seattle. Randy Johnson, his 18th career shutout. He fans 15. And the Angels watch as Texas has taken a 9th inning lead over Oakland 4-2. The Angels could find themselves in second place by the end of today. Chip Carey will be along with more from our Fox Network Center for some final thoughts after these messages. Have a great day, and we'll see you next week.
Life on land is dry.